Hello, word nerds, and welcome to the dictionary. My name is Spencer, and this is episode F76, and I'm tired this morning. You ever have one of those nights where you go to bed and then you wake up 2.5 hours later to go pee, and then you can't fall back asleep for an hour and a half, and then you get up to blow your nose, and then you're like, I'll just stay up and do some work. And then you stay up and do work for over 2 hours, and then you go back to bed and you sleep a little bit for less than 2 hours when your alarm goes off. Oh boy, I am not used to under 4 hours of sleep. Okay, so let's talk about the words. Hey! The first word in this episode is fiddle, F-I-D-D-L-E, first form, noun from the 13th century. Number 1, the synonym is violin. There was a point in my life where I realized that they were the same thing. Some people may still not realize, maybe now they do, that fiddle and violin are the same instrument. It's just the context of how they're being utilized, whether or not they're called a fiddle or a violin. Are there any other instruments like that? Not that I can think of. Number 2, a device to keep objects from sliding off a table aboard a ship. It just says aboard ship, not a ship. Aboard ship. Examples of this device would be a slat, a rack, or light railing. And so, ships, when they're on the water, we just watched a movie last night about boats on water, and everything was slishing and sloshing around. So you gotta make sure that things stay in place when the boat is moving all about with the waves. A device to keep objects from sliding off a table aboard ship. Like a rack. Yeah, whatever it is. It's called a fiddle, and I didn't know that. Number 3, the synonym is fiddlesticks, which is a fantastic word, a lovely word. I love this word, and it will come up later this episode, I think. Yes, it will. This one, by the way, is used as an interjection. Oh, fiddlesticks! I can't believe that happened to me. All of the things fell off of the table on my boat. Fiddlesticks, because I wasn't using a fiddle. Number 4, this is chiefly British, and the synonym is swindle. Ooh, swindle. And the etymology of this one says it comes from the second form of fiddle, which I'm going to read to you next. But what is the regular etymology for fiddle? Let's see. It is not much here. Probably from the Middle Latin vitula, Old English fidel, from Middle English fidel. Yeah, that's about it. But and there's actually no etymology for the second form either. So I guess that's all of it. And what does the Middle Latin vitula mean? No clue. Let's see. My sound effect, because of this word fiddle, I'm going to go. Now we have the second form of fiddle. This one is the verb from the 14th century, starting with intransitive. Number 1, to play on a fiddle. I'm going to fiddle on this fiddle. Just watch me. Watch my fingers go. Number 2, to move the hands or fingers restlessly. Fiddle. Well, there's twiddle your thumbs, do. To move your hands or fingers restlessly, just like, oh, I gotta do stuff. I'm antsy. I gotta ants in my pants, and so you're fiddling. You're just always fiddling with stuff. There's lots of things that I could fiddle with here, and so that's what that word is, fiddle. 2B. To spend time in aimless or fruitless activity. To spend time, you're spending your time in an aimless way. It's fruitless, it's kind of pointless. You're just fiddling about. It's kind of like your hands and fingers moving, fiddling about. But this is just your whole life, your whole body. You're just like, I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing. I'm fiddling my way through life. I think we all feel like that. I just follow the path. Wherever the path goes, that's where I'm going to go. The synonyms for this one are putter and tinker. I imagine when I think of putter and tinker, I think of somebody working in a garage, puttering, tinkering with their tools and maybe carpentry or something, and fiddling. We have an example. Fiddled around with the engine for hours. Just messing with it. They may not even really be doing anything. They just like working with it, working with their hands. Number 2C, the synonyms are meddle, meddle, and tamper. So you're getting in there, you're working on a thing, you're tampering with the brakes of somebody's car that you don't like. You're meddling, you're getting into their business. I guess you could also say fiddle. I'm gonna fiddle in your life. Number 2D, to make minor manual movements, especially to adjust something. This example is fiddled with the radio knobs. These kids today, they don't know nothing about the radio knobs. They don't got to turn the knobs on the radio. They just got to hit the button. Pre-programmed buttons, scan button. No, back when I was a child, we had knobs you had to spin. It didn't last very long. I think we got buttons when I was still relatively young. To make minor manual movements, CB radio, other sorts of things. You got to turn the knob just a little bit to get it right. Maybe you're fiddling with the volume. Ooh, got to get or maybe the air in the car. You got fiddling with those knobs. Now we have transitive number 1, to play on a fiddle, and the thing that you are doing, the thing that you are doing this to, or the thing that is being played on the fiddle is a tune, a T-U-N-E tune. So to play on a fiddle intransitive is fiddling on the fiddle, but when you are fiddling the song, that's transitive. I'm fiddling this tune on a fiddle. Number 2, the synonyms are cheat and swindle. How do you use that in a sentence? I'm fiddling you out of your money? 3, to alter or manipulate deceptively for fraudulent gain. The example is accountants fiddling the books. And that is a quote from Stanley Cohen. So yeah, very similar to number 2, cheating and swindling. This also is connected to the puttering, the tampering, meddling, tinkering, working on a thing to make it to specifically to get some gain out of it, to be lying and cheating. Let's see. Now we say fiddler. That is a noun. I guess that's not actually in here. No, the one who is doing the fiddling is the fiddler. And, of course there is, the classic, musical Fiddler on the Roof. And I think that there should be a version of Fiddler on the Roof where the fiddler is playing some bluegrass music going I don't know, is that more of a banjo? Probably more like a banjo, but how does the fiddle go? I can't do it. I can't sing the fiddling, but that's okay. I'm gonna do the songs, what I'm doing anyway. I did the sound effect. Now we got fiddle away, 2 words, transitive verb from 1667, to fritter away. That's the definition. The example is fiddling away the time. We are frittering it away. I think it's funny that The definition is fritter away when the word is fiddle away. They might as well just have said to fiddle away. Um, so what does fritter away mean? You're wasting time, just hanging out, not doing anything. That's kind of what I think of fritter away. Fiddle, maybe you're doing your what's it called when you're cutting the piece of wood with your knife? It's with a T, I think, but it's sort of similar to fiddle, I think. Twiddle? No, it's not twiddle. We already talked about that one. I can't think of it. But I imagine that's what you're doing. You're just cutting shaves of wood off a thing, sitting on your porch, drinking some tea, watching the sun go down. Now we have fiddleback. One word. Noun from 1890. Something resembling a fiddle. So I assume that this is the violin fiddle. If it resembles it, it's a fiddleback. I feel like I would like to bring up a clip, an audio clip of some fiddle playing. Let's see. Here are my keyboard keys. I'm finding them without fiddle. I like the bluegrass. Let's look up fiddle bluegrass. And here, this one seems fun. Let's play this one. Oh, I love this music so much. No, I don't want an ad. Let's wait a few seconds for us to skip the ad. Here we go. Let's see. I want to hear some good fiddling. All right, that was pretty good. This is just a random thing I clicked on. The group, I guess, is called Southern Raised, and they're playing Orange Blossom Special. And there was some good high-pitched fiddling in there. It was nice and slow and chill, but I assume that later in the song it might have gotten a little bit more frenetic, as the fiddles tend to be. Okay. Now we got fiddle faddle, 2 words with a hyphen. This is a noun from 1577. The synonym is nonsense. That's just fiddle faddle. I can't believe you are saying such nonsense. Get that fiddle faddle out of your mouth. This is often used as an interjection again. Fiddle faddle. Why aren't people saying this enough? We need more people to be saying fiddle faddle. It says it's a reduplication of the word fiddle, like in and then it says fiddlesticks. I guess that's it's similar to fiddlesticks because it's also used as an interjection. Oh, fiddlesticks, fiddle faddle, flitter flatter. Okay, enough of that fiddle faddle. Fiddle-footed. 2 words with a hyphen. Adjective from 1941. Fiddle-footed? Number 1, the synonyms are skittish and jumpy, as in a fiddle-footed horse. So, why is it fiddle? Why is it because their feet are jumping around so much, moving all about, like their feet are playing a fiddle? A speedy, bluegrassy fiddle? Or is it, what else? What were some of those other definitions? Just aimless, fruitless, just walking around aimlessly. I guess that horse is... Are other things called fiddle-footed? Or do they just call horses fiddle-footed? Do they call people fiddle-footed? And what are they doing? They're skittish and jumpy? Yeah. How did they come up with this one? Oh, that horse. That horse is fiddle-footed. Every time I look at him, just a little bit. He just jumps around and kicks my face. So that's a fiddle-footed horse. A fiddle-footed foal. They tried to get another F word in there. Number 2, for fiddle-footed, prone to wander. The example is the nameless fiddle-footed drifters, the shifty riders who traveled the back trails. That is a quote from Luke Short. And we don't have the context here of what Luke was talking about. Other than we know the nameless fiddle-footed drifters. That's the most important part we got to be aware of. They're just, again, they're wandering aimlessly. Maybe they're the hobos on the rails, just living life, going wherever the wind takes them. They're fiddle-footed. Okay, they're not skittish or jumpy. They just like to wander, prone to wander. Did we ever really get much information of why fiddle is connected to wandering, being aimless and fruitless? I don't feel satisfied with that one. Now we have fiddlehead. Noun from 1882. Oh, you're being such a fiddlehead. This is one of the young unfurling fronds of some ferns, the unfurling fronds of ferns, that are often eaten as greens. And this is called also fiddlehead fern. So, yeah, they are called the fiddlehead because when the top part of the fern is curled, it's furled or curled, it looks like the top of the fiddle. The neck of the fiddle goes up, the strings go up the neck, they get tightened up there with those screwy things, and then the very top of it is curled in, and it looks like the top of the fern. And so that's why they call them fiddleheads. It's like the head up there at the top is like a fiddle. The fiddleheads, the young unfurling. So are they in the act of uncurling? Fiddlehead fern. Okay, that's enough of that. Now we got fiddler crab, noun from 1843. Any of a genus of burrowing crabs in which the male has one claw that is greatly enlarged. And we should probably post a picture on the social media of a fiddler crab to see how big does this one claw get. They got the two claws in the front to do stuff with, to grab, to pinch, to attack, to eat. But one of them is like so much bigger. The fiddler crab. Why do they call them the fiddler crab? Well, I assume it's like maybe because it's so big, it's like they got a fiddle by their face or something. I don't know. That one's funny. The genus name, by the way, is Uca. U-C-A. Or is it Yucca? UK? I don't know. It looks like Uca to me. That's a short genus. Yes, I know, it's more of a banjo, but whatever. Now we got fiddlestick, noun from the 15th century. Number 1, a violin bow. Oh, it's the stick that you use to play the fiddle, so it's a fiddlestick. Never thought about that. Number 2, something of little value, and the synonym is trifle. As in, didn't care a fiddlestick for that. I don't care at all that you are playing your fiddle with a stick. Oh, it's worth nothing to me. I think it would be much more impressive if you played the fiddle with an actual stick. Number 2, B is plural. This is where you say fiddlesticks. The synonym is nonsense. And it's used as an interjection. Oh, fiddlesticks! Beep, 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 beep. Now we have fiddling. Adjective from 1652. The synonyms are trifling and petty, as in a fiddling excuse. A fiddling excuse. It's a petty excuse. It's a trifling excuse. What's another way that we can describe that? It's like it's not a good excuse. Maybe it's fiddling. It's just blah blah. If a fiddle could make that sound. Now we got fiddly, Fiddly. Adjective from 1926. This is chiefly British, and it is requiring close attention to detail. The synonym is fussy, but especially requiring an annoying amount of close attention, as in the example. The tiny control buttons on the back are fiddly. That is a quote from M.J. McNamara. The control buttons on the back are fiddly. Oh, you gotta adjust them. You gotta fiddle with them. They're very tricky. They're very picky on how you work them. They're fiddly. They're fussy. This is chiefly British. I guess. I don't know. I feel like I've heard American people use this fiddly. You gotta fiddle with them. I mean, I've definitely heard that. We talked about that before. But fiddly, yeah, maybe British people are more using this than American people. But we got a few Americans probably. Let's see. Anything else about that one? Close attention. You got to really pay attention to those fiddly buttons, fiddly knobs, those fiddly fiddlesticks. Okay, no more fiddle words. Now we have the word fideism. Fideism, Fideism. Noun from 1885. This is reliance on faith rather than reason in pursuit of religious truth. Reliance on faith rather than reason. So you it's more just about what you believe. If you believe a thing religiously to be true, then I guess you are practicing fideism. You're not so much using reason in your pursuit of religious truth. Reason like common sense, facts, actual truths. Interesting concept there. I don't know how I feel about this one. Fideism. Fideist is a noun. Fideistic is an adjective, and let's see, is there any etymology? I'm very curious about this one. It's probably from the French fideisme, which is from the Latin fides, and I'm trying to think of what that might mean, because it doesn't say here. Let's see. Let's go to the good old translate, and we're going to switch this over to Latin. Fide. I feel like it has something to do with the word truth, but I'm not coming up with, let's see, where are my, let's see, fides, faith. It means faith. So yes, that makes sense. You're relying more on faith, the fides, so you are a fideist. Okay. Wonder if you consider yourself to be fideistic. Let me know. Call me up. Email me. Beam 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 boo boo boo. Now we have fidelista. Fidelista, capital Fidelista. Noun from 1960. It is an adherent of Castroism, and this is named for, it's an American Spanish word, named for Fidel Castro. So if you are an adherent of Castroism, then you would be a fidelista, because his first name was Fidel. And then they added ista to it, and that's it for that one. So, what does Castroism mean? You like to smoke a lot of cigars and grow beards. Beep boop boop beep beep. Okay, we got one more word. We got a number of definitions and some synonyms, so we are going to now read the last word, which is fidelity. Fidelity. Noun from the 15th century. Number 1A, the quality or state of being faithful. And we don't even need to look at the etymology to know that this is from the Latin word fides, which means faith. So we're so smart now. We got that one. Fidelity, faith, being faithful. How does faithful connect to having faith? So if you have faith, let's just talk about a relationship here. If you have faith that the person is going to be faithful to you, you are full. Somebody can put, if you are faithful, somebody can put all of their faith in you. You are trustworthy. You are loyal. You are faithful because, okay, that's how we can connect it all together. Number 1B is accuracy in details. Fidelity is accuracy in details. The synonym is exactness. So, and there's also, well, man, I wonder if this one, let's see. Yeah, we're going to talk about that one in the next one. So, yeah, fidelity. I like the details. I like things to be exact, to be correct, to be proper. When I'm talking about data, especially, you want good fidelity in your data. But this next one, I think some people might know it a little bit better. It's number 2, the degree to which an electronic device accurately produces its effect. We got some parentheses here. The electronic device could be a record player, a radio, or a television. And the effect, it reproduces an effect. An example of those examples could be sound or picture. So a record player or a radio is playing a sound, and the TV is reproducing a picture. To what's the fidelity of the record player, the radio, the signal that the TV is getting, the signal that the TV is sending out onto the screen. I feel like I want to put a link in the show notes for fidelity. Of course, there's the movie High Fidelity, and that is a reference to, on some records, you would see it would be printed high fidelity. It means it's a high quality. There's maybe more information so like a record player has all the grooves and the bumps in the groove as the needle goes across it is the thing that produces the sound as it's vibrating, which boggles the mind that they were able to do that. But so, in a high fidelity record, maybe there's more information in the grooves. It's maybe, I don't know if it's deeper necessarily, but there's just more subtleties in the bumps and the hills and valleys of the grooves or something like that. I don't know the specifics, which is why I want to put a link in the show notes, because maybe you don't know the specifics either, and you can go learn about it, and maybe I'll read up on it a little bit too. Okay, so now we got synonym. We got fidelity, allegiance, fealty, loyalty, devotion, and piety mean faithfulness to something to which one is bound by pledge or duty. And but just to backtrack a little bit to the electronic signal, this word fidelity, I think you can connect it to the word faithful. The record with a high fidelity is more faithful to the real life sound than a low fidelity record, vinyl. I think that's just a good way to sort of the higher fidelity, the more faithful it is. So, fidelity implies strict and continuing faithfulness to an obligation, trust, or duty, as in marital fidelity. You say, I'm not going to be in a relationship with somebody else while I'm married to you, then that is marital fidelity. You are faithful, you have an obligation, a trust, a duty. Okay. Allegiance suggests an adherence like that of citizens to their country, as in pledging allegiance. Yeah, that's what that word is more about. Allegiance is more about you're saying, I am faithful to my country. I'm going to fight for my country. They would make us do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to which it stands, blah, 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 blah. There are some issues with that thing. Can't believe that they made us do that. I'm sure they're still making kids do that. Fealty implies a fidelity acknowledged by the individual and as compelling as a sworn vow, as in fealty to the truth. Fealty implies a fidelity acknowledged by the individual, so it's like one person, and is compelling as compelling as a sworn vow. Yeah, so usually when you hear people say, I did a fealty, how do you use that in a sentence? I have fealty to you because I swore a vow that I would never kick you in the face. Boot to the head. Okay, loyalty implies a faithfulness that is steadfast in the face of any temptation to renounce, desert, or betray, as in valued the loyalty of his friends. When I get a dog one day, I will value the loyalty of my dog because they are very loyal. Devotion stresses zeal and service amounting to self-dedication, as in a painter's devotion to her art. She has zeal to do painting, to paint stuff on stuff. And the last one, piety, Piety, stresses fidelity to obligations regarded as natural and fundamental, as in filial piety. And filial, I feel like it's like to your brothers or to your siblings. Let's just see real quick. Let's just confirm that filial or son or daughter, or yeah, child or offspring. So I guess filial piety is you have fidelity, you faithful obligation to your child because it's natural and fundamental. It's if you gave birth to them, that is a natural connection between the two people. So that's why it's piety. Interesting. I assume it's related to pious, Pious. Yeah. Okay, so did we talk about the etymology? Just a little bit, just from the information that we learned earlier. Let's see. From the Latin fidelis, which means faithful, from fides, which means faith. It said it right there. From fidere, which means to trust. And there's more at the word bide. Okay, that was fantastic. And now, everybody, here comes the word of the episode. Today we had fiddle, fiddle, fiddle away, fiddle back, fiddle faddle, fiddle footed, fiddle head, fiddler crab, fiddle stick, fiddling, fiddly, fideism, fidelista, fidelity. That's it. I think I must pick fiddlestick as the word of the episode. I'm going to pluralize it, though. Oh, fiddlesticks, fiddlesticks, everything is just fiddlesticks. That's great. That's all I wanted in a song. And that's, now that you got that wonderful song out of the way, we will now tell you about another couple of movies. Let's do two. We watched A Real Pain, which is a very wonderful Wonderfully fun and silly, but also serious and heart wrenching at times. Story about two cousins who go to Poland to get a little bit of a Jewish tour, if you will. Is that a term? They are Jewish, and they are going to. They're going. They have a little tour group, and then they have to go. They want to go visit the house where their grandmother grew up in, and they don't necessarily see eye to eye on everything, and it's a very good movie. And one of the actors, I'm blanking on his name. I think he wrote and directed it, which I did not realize until the movie was done, and I am very impressed with him. It was very good. And also, we watched Red One, which is a very fun new Christmas movie where it sort of modernizes the whole Santa legend. And there's technology and magic, and there's explanations of how Santa could actually do this. And we were very impressed. We quite enjoyed Red One. I think it's a lot of fun. Obviously, it's more for kids, but I think adults are going to appreciate it as well if you haven't watched it. And I think it's already streaming. I just noticed. So this is airing in January after the holidays, but you can still go watch Red One. There's always a good time for that. And with that, I will now say goodbye to you. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.
No fiddlesticks.